Okay, so this is the tournament footage, and there is no tournament footage from day one. Day one, it poured down rain starting about 2 in the morning. I got no footage. I had 2 keeper bites. I caught a 4-4 on a spinnerbait, and I pulled about a 3-pounder off on a lay down in literally that much water. And I was sharing the water with 2 other guys. I heard them talk about 11 o'clock, and the guy said, I have not had a bite, and the other guy said, nor have I. So I made a decision. I bagged it. I ran south, and I did what we've all done. I spun out a little bit. I made some really, really stupid decisions on where to fish and where not to fish, and the fish just didn't bite for me. And I was so frustrated in that I talked to Chris Jones and Chris Torkelson, both really good guys. Neither one of which, by the way, made the top 6, which really surprised me. I would have picked at least one of those 2 guys to do it. But come to find out, 6 of 6 guys that made the All-American on the boater side are out of Missouri. That's neither here nor there. They did it, and congratulations to them. But Chris and Chris both told me that, yeah, you can catch fish up in that dirty water, but when it gets cloudy and rainy, you go to the clear water. And I really, really thought I could go up there based upon the practice bites, the number of bites and the quality of bites that I got in that one basically day of practice up there. I really thought I could catch something in the mid-teens pretty easy. And I still believe had they bit, that would have happened. The only thing I probably misread was the big fish you saw me lose on the spinnerbait in practice, and the one I caught on the backside were both really, really white fish, which generally tells me that they've come up from deep to shallow to feed, probably before that sunshine. And I think the loss of that sunshine just didn't bring those fish shallow for me, and that's, again, probably why Chris and Chris told me not to go up there, or they didn't tell me not to go up there. They said, generally speaking, bad idea. So it is what it is. I made the decision. So what you're about to see here is day 2, and I'm sure I'm going to make some folks unhappy about this, but I knew day 2 to get a check with one fish that weighed a little, about 4.5 pounds first day. I had to catch something way up in the teens. So I went back down south to an area. So the young man who fished with me the second day, who we'll introduce in just a second, he works for a childhood friend of mine, and he was traveling with another childhood friend of mine, Marty Scudder out of Little Rock, and Tim Nestrenko out of Little Rock. And Marty had called me the night before, said this is the first year this young guy's gotten to fish the BFLs. He really wants to do well. And I told Marty asked me if I was fishing for a check, and I said I don't go out if I'm not fishing for a check. But it also implanted in me I needed to catch a big stringer, and to do that I needed to catch them pretty quick. So fish didn't bite. I caught several short fish. He caught 2 pretty quick on a chatterbait, but I didn't want to throw a chatterbait in front of him. It was obvious they were wanting that chatterbait, but I was not going to throw that in front of him in any way impede his ability to fish the 3rd day and get a chance to go to the All-American. And about 10:30, I rolled that big spinnerbait by, lay down, and one about 4 pounds come out and just smoked it. And brought the fish by the boat. He was down with the net. The fish come up, and the bait just popped out of her mouth. Good hook, brand new spinnerbait, good trailer hook. It just happened. And it was one of those days, I hate to admit this, but there had been a point in my life I probably would have broke a rod over my leg. I took a moment of silence. Oh, by the way, I had just lost another one over a cable, flipping a jig, a good, real solid, probably 3-pound fish. And that happened, bang, bang. And I realized then to make that 18-pound check, I probably needed both of those fish. And yeah, I could continue grinding and catch 2 or 3 more good fish. But I just decided at that point that was a greater power telling me to put this young man in the All-American, to do all I could do from that point forward to make sure he made the All-American. So that's the decision I made. I didn't put my rods up, but I strapped them down. You'll see them on the front deck. I quit casting after I lost that fish. And here's the result of that. Hey boys and girls. Selfie. Ken Smith Fishing. Andrew in the back of the boat. So this is the BFL Regional, 2nd day. Yesterday, actually we just commented, this is the first time since about 2 o'clock the morning the tournament started that it hasn't rained. Literally, it has rained none. Am I lying? It has rained non-stop. So I made a gamble yesterday, although it was counter to everything I knew and everybody told me, and I went to the muddy water with the cloud cover because I had one little stretch up there, as you guys saw in practice, that I had 7 bites off of in a real short stretch. And then I looked at a few fish in there and they were quality, and then I had another stretch where I had caught a couple of good spinnerbait fish. And went up there yesterday and had 1 bite, actually had 2 bites. Well, had 2 keeper bites. I had one just over 4 on spinnerbait, and then I had one about 2.5 that I flipped on a lay down and literally pulled the fish out of the water when I set the hook. So Andrew, what's your last name, Andrew?
Wooley.
Andrew Wooley from Little Rock, Arkansas, is friends with some of my high school friends. This is his first year to fish the BFLs. He won the Co-Angler of the Year in the Arky division. And after yesterday, he was in the top, what place were you in?
14th.
He was in 14th place. So top 12 fish tomorrow. And I did fish this morning hard. I have one gigantic keeper back there. And I missed a fish behind a dock on a jig and went around a corner and had one about 3.5 pounds. And it
almost to the net.
Andrew was down about to net it, and it come off. And I just figured at this point, the most I could possibly do is get a check. We've got Andrew up to 4 now, so as you can see, I'm just kind of got the motor turned so he can get a little bit of angle on them. And we're just going down the bank. They're eating his chatterbait pretty good, and I haven't thrown a chatterbait today because I didn't want to pull any fish in front of him that might cost him. So we'll roll a little bit of footage here, but I do know, so the leader is throwing a big spinnerbait, same thing I was doing. He just was doing it down here in the clear water, and I was doing it up the lake. I know a lot of fish are getting caught on chatterbaits, and if you're coming up here and you're watching this video, what I will tell you is, in just like every Highland Reservoir in Arkansas and Missouri and Oklahoma and the Carolinas, when it gets cloudy and rainy, you go to the clear water because that's when those fish munch. And I knew that, and I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot. So I've quit dropping all my F-bombs. When I lost that fish, I didn't break a rod in half. I had a moment of silence.
It did have a moment of silence.
Had a moment of silence there, kneeled down and had a moment of silence.
But it was well deserving.
It was, well, anyway, so I had to catch probably 17 pounds to get a check today, and I could still do it, but the odds are much better of him going to the All-American than me getting a check, and it'll make a bigger difference him going to the All-American than me getting a check here. So
I can't thank him enough for that. It is very awesome for him to really do that for me. This is my first year, and honestly, if anybody out there is looking for, you don't have a boat or anything, come join these, man. It's a great way to get out here and just kind of, you learn a lot. That was what I went into this year about it. I possibly could. Man, there's some good guys just like Ken right here, and I've never had any problems with anybody, you know. Oh, there's one right there.
Here we go, here we go. That's 5. Oh, look here, we're doing chesty kind of a cam. Got him.
Off in the net. Thank you.
How's that for timing?
Yeah, that was good timing.
Very nice. Woo, gave me chill bumps. Huh?
He's 14.
We'll measure him anyway, just to make sure, but yeah, he's 14.5, I think.
It's number 5 right there.
Very nice. Oh, we're going to crash into the rocks. That's what we were trying to do right there, is give him that cast. And I think he's got one back there for sure we need to call.
Yeah, I think there's one Kentucky that we need to get out of the boat. And then
he's got a Kentucky.
He's sitting pretty good.
You got a Kentucky that's a butterball back there.
It is, man. They're eating shad. Let me tell you, if you go into any pocket right now up here, you could take a dip net down and catch how many shad.
So there's what he's throwing. Whose chatterbait is that?
This is a jackhammer. I'm sure everybody's thrown it, heard of it.
$20.
It's honestly, I used to throw just all the regular Z-mans, and I still do, but I don't know what it is about this. It makes a different noise. I think there was a video that came out not too long ago that showed the underwater, you know, just making the difference in noise, and I'll tell you, it makes a difference up here, because I've been able to go behind people and catch them in practice and in in the tournament, and it's done very well for me. So, that one helps.
Cool. Cable on the from my deep. Attaboy.
People, I mean, I just kind of, I was too busy fishing. I didn't have a whole lot of friends, really. I had some good friends, and there he is.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Not a huge one, but that's a nice go. Solid 3 1/4, maybe a little better.
3 1/4.
That got you over 10 pounds. That should get you fishing tomorrow. Now we just need to pile up a little bit of weight.
Big mouth. Look at that. He's got crawfish intended in the mouth.
Yum yum crawfish. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. That's pretty funny. Sorry, we'll let you go digest him.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do an update here. So Andrew's caught keepers pretty much all day. I think he's probably caught 12 or 15 keepers on that little jackhammer chatterbait. He's sitting on, he might have 12 pounds, but I think it's more a heavy 10.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
I think he's got something in the high 10s, which is going to put him about 18 pounds. And that will almost certainly put him in the top 6. He'll certainly fish tomorrow. But we really, if he can catch, because he doesn't know tomorrow, he may draw a guy who absolutely front ends the crap out of him, or his fish don't bite. I mean, you got to catch him while you can catch him. So we're going to we got about a little bit less than an hour to fish, and we're going to make one more pass through this area, and hopefully he can pop a 4-pounder. Because a 4-pounder make a huge difference.
I'll go a long way.
What's your small fish right now, $1.80?
Yeah, $1.80, $1.90.
Yeah, it'd go a really long way. Need a good one. So, congratulations. I'm so happy he made the All-American. He wound up finishing second. We really pressed that last hour. I took him through some areas that I thought for sure he could call. He had won about $1.80, and I really thought we could catch a 3 or 4 pound fish right there. And had we done that, he'd have won it. But it wasn't his day to win it the second day. He caught a limit the last day. He didn't catch a limit the first day, and that's what cost him. And the guy who won, I think, caught a 7.5 pounder behind the winner the second day. They drew out together the second day, and he caught a 16-pound stringer. So you catch a 7-pounder out of the back of somebody's boat on a lake as tough as Grand, you're almost destined to win if you're a good fisherman otherwise. And quite obviously, he was a good fisherman otherwise. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you think I did something wrong there, I don't really care. I did what I felt was right for him and what made me feel good, and I had a great time. And I'm so happy he's going to the All-American, and that gives him that's just great. It was a fun day of basically being a coach. So Coach Smith, I guess. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Remember, these t-shirts are still available. I've got more coming, and we'll get those posted up for you here in the next few days. Thanks, guys. Guys, also don't forget, we've got 2 tournaments coming up this weekend on Sam Rayburn. On Saturday the 16th, we have the college state qualifier. The winner of that tournament qualifies for the Bassmaster College Series National Championship. That event is being put on by the folks over at Outlaw Outdoors. I promise you we will have fun at the weigh-in. If you've never seen one of these weigh-ins, Clint and I both have mics, and you will enjoy coming to that weigh-in. Then on the 17th, there's an Outlaw Outdoors Open Tournament. I will be there. I'm fishing with James Niggemeyer, so looking forward to getting to fish with James. We've never fished before, so if you've never fished one of those, come out on Sunday the 17th, get out of the deer stand, and come fish the Open Tournament with us. We will see you guys this weekend on Rayburn.